Ramirez, two-time WAC champion as a volleyball player, now an assistant coach. Ring that bell! Woo! The UTRGV Coaches Show starts now. Coach Ramirez, this is a nice Lexus you're in.
Just gonna tell you, they know what I like.
What do you say we go do a coach's show?
Yeah, let's do that. Thank you. Stay there.
It's the UTRGV Coaches Show from North Park Lexus, Rio Grande Valley. I'm Jonah Goldberg. We're joined by UTRGV volleyball assistant coach and alum, Paulina Ramirez. Coach, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Now, Paulina, you first got here in what, 2016?
2016.
So, from being a student athlete in 2016 to being an assistant coach today, what's your journey been like?
Honestly, like crazy, a roller coaster. Even like nothing about my recruiting process was even conventional. So even then, like my process of being a coach hasn't been very conventional either. But I think like all the little things, like all the people that I've encountered in my life and like all the teams I've played in, the coaches I've been playing for, my parents were coaches. So like even for them, like all the things that they have taught me, I think it has added up to like everything perfectly because it was like right time, right moment, right place, everything. So it's been interesting for sure. I actually was not gonna play indoor volleyball for college. I was just gonna play beach, and I was gonna go to Mexico City for that. And then just run random tournament that I came to South Padre Island with my state team for beach volleyball because they have a really good wind in the island, and I needed to practice that. I drew videos and Todd and Vinny looked at me, and after that, like it was an easy recruitment. They're like, we need defenders, you wanna come? I was like, sure. That's about it. And then now that I'm in this side now and I get like 50 to 80 emails every day of girls just like, give me just feedback, like, or something, like, and they wanna be part of a great D1 program that UTRGV is. I'm just like blessed of like the opportunity that I had and everything that I've learned, for sure. And I'm glad that I can do that now for other people.
So if you're getting this many emails a day, are you able to respond to all of them?
Sometimes. During season it's harder, but like right now that I'm off season, I get to respond to almost all of them. But I do almost watch all of them. I have OCD, so I have to like, I can't have like all these things that I haven't been opened or read by me.
So you were going to be a beach volleyball player. You were going to go to school in Mexico City, and you kind of glossed over. You said, "Oh, it was an easy recruitment." How was it easy to suddenly change countries and effectively change sports to indoor volleyball?
Yeah. I mean, I always played indoor. Like my coach from high school would just like text me 2 weeks before a tournament, like, "Hey, come practice because we have a tournament." And I'll be like, "Okay." So I did play it, but it wasn't like something like I remember Vinny and Todd taught me how to dive again in indoor because I would like hit my shoulders super bad at the beginning. But honestly, like I do miss beach a lot, but for sure it's been like super fruitful. Like I think I reached my peak athleticism and volleyball potential at UTRGV. Like I did get better, like from top to bottom. I got stronger. I'd never even been in the weight room before I got to college. Kind of sad to admit, but like I only played beach. Like I just practiced, and the sand is pretty heavy. So like, and we needed us. My dad was my coach, and he wanted us to be like light and quick on the sand instead of like super heavy or powerful. So, and I was never super fast or super powerful ever. I was probably as Todd, I was probably one of the worst ones in the team all the time. But I did get my personal best, like at UTRGV for sure. So that was exciting. Like I had an opportunity to go, like actually Vinny like would tell me like if beach is your passion and you want to play beach, like, and you want to transfer, like it's okay, like I can help you. But honestly, I was like, I've always had this like mentality from, I guess, from my parents too, like it's not about you, like volleyball is not about you, it's like bigger than yourself. It's, you have to put your teammates first, you're playing for other people, like you're playing for a bigger purpose, you're a teammate. Like I think players and parents and coaches underestimate like how much of like a great teammate you have to be, because like at this point there's thousands and thousands of girls that can play good at this level. And there's going to be people that are going to want to join UTRGV volleyball, you know, or D1 volleyball. So at the end, like we choose like who are the best fit for our culture, and we look for great teammates. We look for great, just people in the community, leaders, students. So I put that like such as a priority because my parents taught me that. So I think it was like match made in heaven for UTRGV, because like that's something that like I try to give all the time as a player, and then that's something that I like ask for as a coach, and that's like exactly what the UTRGV culture is. So I think it was like a perfect match, and I think like Vinny and Todd saw that even when I was playing.
Well, it's kind of the story of your career. I mean, you think back to your freshman year, you didn't play until November. Folks, the season starts in August. What was that like that it looked like you weren't going to get to play your freshman year?
Yeah, no, for sure. I think like I wasn't used to that, because in Mexico, like all the time, captain, always in there, playing and everything. But that's just a reality when you go to college. And I knew that it was like, okay, like sometimes freshmen don't get to play that much here in America. Freshie, like understand that type of thing. And I'll be like, okay, like I'll just earn my spot and just like practice. And honestly, like competition is good and everything, and I'm as competitive as they come, but I do think like practice and earning a spot and having the best interest of the team came first, and me being in there wasn't the best decision. So I was like, okay, I need to get better so I can at least have a chance to help them. So I just like practiced all the time, even in that game in Chicago, like the first time that I played like a weekend before the WAC tournament in November, as you said. And like we talk about it all the time with Todd and Vinny, but like my knee pads were down here in my calves, and my shoelaces weren't even done correctly. And then just Todd goes like, we were losing against Chicago, which in that year like they were at the bottom of the conference, and we were doing pretty good. And we like to lose a set to them, like we were pretty upset about that, and I knew Todd and Vinny were gonna be upset about that. So they were just like, Todd and Vinny would just like go in there. And honestly, I've been having like really good 3 weeks or 4 weeks of practices. I've been like serving really, really hard at like my teammates and stuff and making them struggle. So for sure, I think I did earn it, and they did see it. So then they put it in there, and I was just like, okay. And I have always been in that position. Like even back home in Mexico, I've always been the one that they call like on 24-24 to serve. Like I really don't get like that physically nervous, and I can like really, like, I don't know where I developed that, but I've always been that player since I was really little. So I just went in there, served for like 8 serves, I think.
Yeah, it was something like that.
You're
remember.
better at this than me, remembering the stats.
The UTRGV was losing to Chicago State. I think it was actually the 5th set, and you come in.
5th set, yeah, probably.
And I remember seeing you come in and thinking, Paulina Ramirez, wait, that can't be right. She hasn't played all year. And then all of a sudden, you won something like 7 or 8 serves in a row.
We won the set.
And then I went from Paulina Ramirez to Paulina Ramirez. And then I'm asking Todd, why hasn't she been playing all year? What? I mean, you had her this whole time?
Yeah, but I mean, that was the job that I needed to do, and then WAC tournament, and then we won the WAC tournament. In my freshman year, I had to Google what NCAA WAC tournament was. I did not know this like before I got recruited. I didn't even know how good of a game, like of a good of a team was or level was UTRGV like before I got recruited. So that's how much I didn't know about this. But then now I'm all ready. I'm all
Paulina Ramirez is an assistant coach with the UTRGV volleyball team. Can you stick around for a few more minutes?
I can, yeah.
Let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to hear more from Coach Ramirez. This is the UTRGV Coaches Show from North Park Lexus, Rio Grande Valley.
In the minute it takes to knock back your dream, spot your new crush, or cheer on the home team, you could do something that really makes a difference. Sign up as an organ donor. In less than a typical timeout, you could sign up to save 8 lives. It sure beats using a minute to mustard that hot dog. Sign up at tosa1.org.
The Rio Grande Valley is growing every day. That's why you need a team you can trust. 2 stations, 2 languages.
Se le pide a cualquier persona con información.
The most experienced news anchors in the valley.
And Andina Herrera Garza.
The largest weather team keeping you informed in English.
The tracker front updates forecast.
Y en español.
Te le voy a estar explicando un poco más de eso.
A sports team covering the RGV like no one else.
What this win means.
We're live in the morning, at noon, and in the evenings. Anytime you need us, we're online and on social media too. We do this all in both languages.
We are tracking breaking news.
Nosotros estamos aquí para platicarles cómo va.
Who else can deliver this type of coverage?
Tonight at 10 in the meantime, have a great evening.
No one. Channel 5 News
And Azteca Valle.
working together for you.
At Raising Cane's, we focus on being the best at one thing and getting it right every time. Which is why every chicken finger meal we serve is marinated, hand-battered, cooked to order, and made just for you. Quality isn't complicated, and our menu is proof.
Raising Cane's Chicken Fingers, one love.
Now hiring awesome crew. Apply at workatcanes.com.
TownePlace Suites by Marriott, Edinburgh's newest destination spot and a host hotel of UTRGV Athletics, with the amenities that a frequent long-stay traveler or visiting team in town to take on the V-Nation looks for. The nightlife is amplified with Ignite Lounge, a great way to wrap up a long workday or celebrate a big win. TownePlace Suites by Marriott on Trenton in between Business 281 and Sugar Road and minutes away from the excitement of UTRGV. TownePlace Suites by Marriott, Edinburgh.
Welcome back to the UTRGV Coaches Show from North Park Lexus, Rio Grande Valley. I'm Jonah Goldberg, and this is still UTRGV volleyball assistant coach and alum Paulina Ramirez. Thanks for sticking around. So before the break, we were talking about how you got to travel despite being injured your junior year because in part you were like having an extra coach on the court, and in part because of the energy you brought. You go to a UTRGV volleyball match, I don't think anybody has more fun in any sport in the nation than UTRGV volleyball. Since you've been there, and it has definitely continued, the student athletes may change, but it's always the same. There are always antics on the sideline. Tell me about that.
Yeah, it's just something that we've that's so funny. We have been carrying it on, honestly, and I think it had started that year that we won the WAC tournament in 2016, because we went in there as 5th seed, I think, and we were like, you know what, honestly, if you look at the things, everybody has a fair chance if you bring it. And everybody in talent, it's there, but when you bring all the energy and you're having fun and you are cheering for the people inside and everything, it starts to build a momentum and it starts to get better. And literally and Todd has said it so many times, and I totally agree. The team from the WAC that brings on everything and they believe they can win and they'll cheer for it, those are the ones that normally win, the whole thing. So it's kind of and we verified it in 2016, and we just went off. I don't know what happened. I was always with Jackie. Wait, my freshman year, Jackie wasn't there. It was Julia, Fernanda Faustino, Barbara Krug. Sometimes Barbara Silva would be there because she would go in and out. Everybody in the bench would just go crazy. Kelly Wooden. We were just trying to just bring all the energy and have fun. And we just started dancing all the time too, trying to come up with cheers. And I don't know how that just started, I guess as soon as other generations started coming, they just started doing it. And then after everybody has been left. Like Julia is crazy, and I talk to them all the time now that I'm in the coaching staff, because as soon as I graduated in 2020, I was a volunteer assistant for a year, and then now an assistant. So I've been like kind of never left, only for like a couple months. So I would just always tell them like, hey, I better, because it gets hard, like especially for freshmen and everybody to get used to, like, because everybody that comes to UTRGV D1, they've been their best, like the best people in their teams at home and everything. And like everybody has that leadership, and we look for that. So sometimes like when that happens and we can't, sometimes when we're in the bench and we can't really help much, it can get not discouraging, but like, okay, I need to facilitate for them to how to find ways to still feel like they're important, because they are, and like their energy does affect inside of the team, and they're still part of the team. And girl sports, like everybody just needs to like have that sorority and like sisterhood to like feel like we're all working towards the same goal. So I just make sure that everybody is like helping. I always say that if you're not helping physically, you're helping energetic wise, cheering, like all these things. So I'm glad that they have, like, we've had the great personalities to like continue that for sure.
Well, one way you helped that junior year, you would grab a microphone during warm-ups on game day. You didn't think I remember that. And you went karaoke style.
There were so many things I did as a student athlete that I'm just like, as a coach now, like, oh my God. Chris King saw me, when Chris King was here, saw me dancing in the dance cat at men's basketball games. Oh my God, I'm getting red. Yeah, I love karaoke. What can I say? I love karaoke.
And honestly, you're a really good singer. I mean, you were just as good as the music that would have otherwise been playing.
Yeah. Pardon the USA is one of my top hits. I can do a good impression of Shakira, Britney.
Yeah, your Shakira was spot on.
Thank you.
And I think that's a big reason why your team won the WAC championship that year.
Yeah, we did. It was a great year. Probably one of the best ones. Yeah. Oh, thank you. Just trying to make it fun.
Well, hey, when you have fun, you win. We've seen that with your team for years now.
Yeah.
And you came back as a volunteer assistant coach. You mentioned you were gone for a few months. So what were you doing for the few months between graduation and becoming a volunteer?
Oh, great question. I was very confused. I think a lot of people were very confused, because I graduated in May 2020. So the pandemic started March 2020. So I actually didn't even have a graduation ceremony, like nothing. Like I finished my college degree online. It was a really hard, confusing time. I was that class that like, okay, like, so then go out in the world and find a job, but the world is shut down completely and there's so much uncertainty on everything. So I was really scared. I was really, really scared. I didn't know what to do. I was still coaching little kids, but then pandemic started and that stopped. And I knew I could have my job still, but we didn't know when it was gonna start opening again. Like, I remember those couple first months were really, really scary. So I just like lived with my parents, tried not to lose all my savings. I went actually to Mexico, lived back to Mexico. I thought I was gonna move back there like after I finished college, especially since I had like savings in dollars, and if you spend in pesos, you kind of have like double. So I was like, I can, you know, earn myself some time to get something, or get a job. So I was just like, I'm gonna move over there and not spend much money, and then from there I'll try to find something. But right away, like around July, June, summer camps started like opening up, and my bosses called me. Todd was one of them, and they were like, hey, what are you doing? And I was just always like texting them and answering on social media and stuff. So I was just like, nothing, like I miss coaching a lot, not gonna lie, like how are you guys doing? Is it opening up? And they were like, yeah, actually we wanna come work, like we have a spot for you. And I was like, yep, don't have to tell me twice. Like I jumped into a plane, came back, and then staying here, being already here, they took advantage of like, hey, like if you want to stay, like we want you to continue to have this job, and then we're looking forward to, if you want to be a volunteer assistant at UTRGV, like we'll help you find like, I was like, I'll help you find like teams to practice and like little girls to coach. Well, because volunteer, I mean, I'm not gonna get paid and stuff. So I was like, but I don't care. Like I need this. Like I want this experience at my I was 22. Like I was like I want this experience. I want to be like I'm totally am behind what you guys do and I love it there. I love that gym. I miss it. So let's go. So that's how it started with the volunteer thing. Like I literally thought I was gonna go back to Mexico, go back get a master's in. I studied anthropology, so I was gonna get a master's in sex education and Mexican American studies. And I'm back here coaching.
Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
We're glad that you're here, and I'm curious, that moment when you found out you were getting promoted to full-time assistant coach, what was that like?
Oh my God, that was crazy. I knew it might have come at some point, but I didn't think it was gonna be that fast or that quick. I know I was working towards it, but it felt unreal. Like when Todd told me, I think it took me like a couple days to like actually feel it, but it was awesome. Like I remember just being super happy. It was last summer. Oh my God. Like I was just like ready to get all the onboarding stuff ready to go on, and I'm like now looking at people that were my mentors and people that were my professors and stuff, and now working towards like with them and alongside them in projects and everything. Like Dr. Graham, our fac, like she was my chair of the anthropology department. And she was my supervisor in I did 2 internships in the museums, in the History Museum, the Mostat in Edinburgh, and the IMAS in McAllen. So she was my supervisor there, and then now I can work alongside her. Brenda, always my mentor, and now my coaches are my coworkers. So it's just been a slow transition that I know it's gonna take more time too, because I sometimes I do have to juggle between those 2 worlds. I'm still in that transition, but for sure holding a really Todd and Vinny trust me a lot. I feel a lot of trust. I feel a lot of trust from the girls. Even some girls that I'm still coaching, some girls I used to play with. So they have been so awesome and professional and respectful and super yes coach and happy for me, and they understood how much I wanted that, and I just can't thank everybody enough. It's been great.
So it's also Women's History Month this month.
Yes.
What does Women's History Month mean to you?
Honestly, I just think that I've been such a feminist since I was a little girl, since I was a very, very little girl, from personal experiences from home and just wanting to be there for my mom and my sister. Has always been us 3, so I was raised by women. My role models have always been strong women, and it's just an honor. And studying anthropology and studying diversity and studying culture, and being Mexican American and being bilingual, and just I know about history and story, and it's been recent too. So it's just kind of a big, yes, celebration, but also a month and to take into advantage that we can have a better spotlight at all these problems and all these things that women have been working towards forever. When my grandma was born, her and her sisters couldn't vote. It's not that far from us. My grandma, living person that I love and that has raised me, grew up having the world having this idea that she was not worth a say in our government body and the things that molds us. So I think it's super important to be an active citizen and all that stuff when I'm at work. So obviously I need to have what that responsibility comes from. So it's kind of just really thanking and honoring all the women that came before me and try to do my best. I think honestly that's why I chose to coach, because I do feel deeply that this is my part I can do in feminism. I can what I do, it's literally empower young women that have, and connecting through a passion and some common goals, but giving them tools to be confident out in the world and believe in themselves and be leaders and have a voice and be great people, be great teammates to other girls too, and have a support system like that. So I think honestly that's why I'm so in love with what I do and the girls I encounter and the people. Like, I think it is like giving like a little bit of like my grain of, what's it called? Like mi granito de arena, como mi granito de the sand.
Yeah.
You know, my sand speck. I don't know. I wanted to translate it directly to English and it didn't work. I'm sorry.
Paulina Ramirez, regardless, you're an inspiration. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Jonah. Thank you.
We'll be back in a moment to wrap things up from North Park Lexus, Rio Grande Valley. This has been the UTRGV Coaches Show.
We all want the best for our families, to love, to laugh, to live a healthy life. At UT Health RGV, we believe every family should have access to the most advanced medical care right here, close to home. With over 100 board-certified doctors at 20 locations valley-wide, with life-saving procedures and treatments that keep you and your family healthy, UT Health RGV is here for you. High-quality care for every patient, for every family. Find your way to the best care at uthealthrgv.org.
This is a walk-on athlete. They train longer, put their heart into the game. This is the passion we're built on. It's why we put our heart into creating game day with a taste of Louisiana. Walk-ons, we live for this.
There's a magic to the Rio Grande Valley and to this university. We are champions in the arena, in the halls, and in our communities. The Valley's pride. The Valley's future. The Valley's University.
Support. Some call it the foundation of success. Joining the V Club assists in the success of our student athletes. Preparing our student athletes for excellence in life.
Thanks for tuning in for this edition of the UTRGV Coaches Show. We'll be back with you next week for the penultimate episode of the season, Wednesday at 8:30 p.m. and special re-air Sunday at 1:30 on Somos El Valle, channel 5.3, cable 1241. Missed an episode? Want to watch this one again? Then check out our archive shows on our YouTube channel at goutrgv.com/coaches show. Big thanks to UTRGV volleyball assistant coach and alum, Paulina Ramirez, for joining us this week. We'll be back next week with Molly Kastner, the senior women administrator and deputy director of athletics of UTRGV, as well as men's soccer assistant coach Kyle Tim. But for now, this is Jonah Goldberg saying so long from North Park Lexus, Rio Grande Valley. This has been the UTRGV Coaches Show. Get your visa.